Well, we'll kick off with 1980 then, if that's okay.
Yeah, I've got the list from last week, so I think from the time before. Yeah.
So February and March, you were gigging quite heavily. You were round Cardiff, Norwich, Stockton, Jersey, and you did the Marquee as well, which turned out to be quite useful for you.
I remember the Marquee because we still had all the equipment with the Arctic, and we blocked Wardour Street off. You know, the police weren't very happy because we had the Arctic down there, and nobody could move in Wardour Street. But yeah, actually, but I remember the Marquee because we used to play there in the 60s.
Yeah.
We first started, we used to go there and watch Jethro Tull and The Move back in the 60s there. They used to have the residency on Thursday nights. And I remember when we played there, the first time we supported Yes, would you believe?
Yeah.
And we were skinheads at the time. Can you imagine us and Yes on the same bill? You know, and then we got the residency ourselves, and it was great. Hang on a bit, I'm stuck here now. Yeah, and we got the residency, and it was a great gig. The original Market. I've never been to the new one, so I don't know what that one's like. But you can imagine the Marquee in Wardour Street got so much history. I mean, the Stones started there. I mean, it was a great gig. I mean, there was nothing special about it, but it was just a great atmosphere. Great atmosphere is there.
Right, in May, you came out with your Six of the Best EP.
Yeah, I do remember that. But I think we were just trying, because I think, was that on Barn, wasn't it?
No,
it came out on Six of the Best.
It was your own little label.
Yeah, that's right. So it was something to do with Chaz, though.
Yeah.
It was like something that he thought of, you know. But I don't think it did all that well, though.
It's a good EP, though, Don.
It was a great, because I remember in the 60s when I used to buy EPs. That's how it started, Chris. We used to have EPs in the 60s, and that's basically why we did it. We just thought we'd try something different out. Yeah.
You got some good story songs on there, haven't you? The Wheels Ain't Coming Down.
Yeah.
And 9 till 5. Whoever wrote 9 till 5, I want to shake the hands.
Remind me what it's about, Chris.
It's this teenage kid with a brilliant lyric. Lends a fiver ma, I'm broke. I've got a date. She's a cracking bit of stuff, but she never knows when she's had enough. And it's all about being unemployed and borrowing money and all that sort of stuff.
Nice one. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time. I do like that one as well.
Yeah.
But the wheels ain't coming down. That we know that one about the plane that Notting Jim was stuck on. Yeah. You know. Yeah. I'm glad.
Good story songs though.
I tell you what, I'm glad it wasn't me. Yeah. I'm funny enough. I've just been watching. I don't take this the wrong way, but I always watch that air crash investigation program that's on Sky. I tell you what, it's bloody frightening. You know. Yeah. It's always human error. It's never. Very rarely it's the plane. Unless it's a terrorist thing, you know what I mean, sort of thing. But I mean, it's nearly always human error.
You've got the two biggies on there as well, haven't you? You've got Night Starvation and When I'm Dancing.
Yeah, When I'm Dancing was a great stage song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great stage song that was, yeah.
It's just a great EP all over, isn't it?
I'd have to look that one out again. Yeah. You know, so
I used to get my stuff from a shop in Warsaw, and the assistant in there, I think, fancied me, and they used to get me everything. And I got the poster for it, the demo song, the demo disc, plus the what's it and everything. I think his name was Keith. Keith, his name was.
I've got no idea.
Nice bloke.
Well, I used to go to, at first I used to go, where was it? There's a record shop in Bilston. I'm trying to think, I don't think it was anything special, but then it was Cliff and Halifax in Wolverhampton then. Yeah. You know, that's where I used to go. And that's where we did a record signing for You Better Run.
Yep.
Yeah, that 66. Was the day that was released.
Yeah. Carol Williams bought about 30 copies on that day, I think.
But you're very right.
Yeah.
I think she said she still got them. but I remember when that one, because we were #1 for 6 weeks in Wolverhampton,
Yeah,
and we held Tom Jones at Green Grass of Ormoff. It
you
was
did.
#1 in the national charts, Tom Jones, but we kept it off in Wolverhampton.
Yeah, yeah. I've got the charge for that. It's good.
So you'd come off Burn Records and you'd put this one out on 6 of the best. Had Burn Records folded at that point?
But I think it must have done, Ian, because I was reading through the things, because there was nothing else on Barn after that, was there?
I'm not sure. I don't think there was.
But I remember at the time with Barn, there's always a problem with the distribution.
Yeah.
Because when Chas first formed it, he had a distribution through Polydor, because obviously we came off Polydor, so we went to Barn, and Barn was distributed through Polydor. But I don't know what happened there when that distribution situation stopped, and then it's very hard. Then he went to a distribution company called Pinnacle.
Yeah.
And they were mainly for main labels, and that was the biggest problem with Barn, is distribution. And it's always a problem with labels, is to get the right distribution to the situation. Otherwise it's a waste of time. If the records ain't in the shops, it's a waste of time. And if it's not a particularly big or well-known company, you know, it ain't an easy thing to do. You know, they've got to get the records out all over the country, you see. And, you know, unless you're on the ball, or it's a big situation, forget it, really. I mean, when the Beatles formed Apple, I know it's a different situation, and EMI obviously distributed Apple, and they were basically still on EMI, if you know what I mean. So I mean, EMI were there on the ball with the distribution. Yeah.
So looking what we've got here, in June you did 5 gigs. You did Leeds, Blackpool, Hucknall, Wimby Miners Welfare Club. What
I was about
place?
to say that was a working men's club, wasn't it? Yeah.
They were massive though.
Yeah.
And then you did 2 at the Music Machine.
Yeah, that became a great gig for us. That was, you know, that was a really good gig. We played there quite a few times.
Yeah. And then after that, the diary seemed to go empty. The next thing we've got is that in August, Jim put a Dummies single out, didn't you? Used to Be You and Miles Out to Sea. Yeah. What did you think of that? What did you think of that when you did that?
Well, I thought it was great, because I thought Miles Out to Sea, because I think didn't Jim sing that originally anyway on the Slade version?
No.
Oh, didn't? Okay, but yeah, I mean, I didn't really know much about it, because we weren't doing anything together at the time. But I thought he was just keeping things going, and he started recording with Frank, and that was it really, you know. And I don't think it really. Did he get quite a bit of radio play, if I remember right?
It was a radio hit of sorts, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it was quite a few radio plays.
It was a good single. Didn't you used to be? It's a proper pop song.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, I think really, I think it's the same again. It was like a distribution situation. You know, it's so bloody important, you know, for factories to get the records out. I mean, it's a weird thing. They say, well, they'll do it for established acts, but how are you going to be an established act if you don't get the bloody records out there?
Well, right, yeah. Next thing we've got, 31st of August, you went to Reading and did the festival. The
Reading Festival, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, like I said, we haven't seen each other or played together all that time, and Nod called me up, and he said that Ozzy had dropped out of the Reading Festival because he thought his band weren't ready, and we got offered the slot, and I just started laughing at him down the phone. And I said, I'll tell you what, no, we ain't really got anything to lose. And Chaz's policy thing was, he said, well, if you are going to sort of break up or pack it all in, go out on a high, do a big festival like that. And he said he's been recorded by the BBC, you know, says, and who knows what'll happen. And like I said, when we got there, we hadn't even got any passes or anything. We went in with the punters, you know, we sort of like walking through it, and because we weren't built, and everybody was saying, what are you lot doing here? And we said, we're playing tonight, and nobody really knew. And I remember Tommy Vance being there, and he actually said, you know, you're going to storm it. He says, because you got the songs. Yeah, he says, you got the songs, he said, and you'll just rip the place apart. And that's what happened. And it was just like, I mean, we were so elated after the show. I always remember, because the dressing room situation were like caravans. Each band had like a caravan. And after the show, our caravan was full of everybody. They were all coming in sort of like nicking our booze or whatever was in there. I mean, it was a great feeling. And it was like what Tommy Vance said, though, really. He said, like, you've got the songs. He said, people will be waiting for something like that. And then that's what happened. And of course, like, the BBC recorded it. And yeah, and we bought the tapes off them, and then like we put that out and we released that as well. But I mean, like on this questionnaire you got, guys, you said if Red hadn't have happened, would we have split up? I think we probably more or less would have done, because we hadn't done anything. We hadn't really spoke to each other either, you know, sort of thing.
Were you just drifting into doing nothing, or was there a conscious decision to leave it a while?
I think it just to leave it a while. I mean, we haven't got, there's nothing on the horizon, you know, so we just sort of left each other alone, basically. There's nothing on the horizon, so there's nothing pending, so to speak. So we just left each other alone. And I was, do you remember that group called the Pleasers? They were like a Beatles.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was at the Music Machine before that, and Steve, the guitarist, singer, and songwriter, he asked me to play drums on he was doing some solo stuff, and he asked if I would play drums, which I did, and it was great. We did them at EMI in Manchester Square, the main EMI place, you know, and it was great. We put about half a dozen tracks down. There was me, Steve, and he got like a friend sort of to play bass. And it was really good. It was good fun. It was great getting back in the studio. There were Steve's songs. Steve wrote the songs, and I had to try and find out. I've just made contact with him again. I just had to find out, and it'd be nice to have a listen to that lot again. Yeah, and see how it was. You know, I've forgotten already, because I remember the guy from AMI asked me if I would do some sessions for them. For EMI, if I'd sort of be a session drummer for them at EMI, I says, yeah, you find me the work, you'll find something, and that was it. But that was it. I never heard anything after that, basically. And like you've got here, Dave left. I don't know whether he actually left the band, but he wasn't bothered about coming back, if you know what I mean. Like I said, we hadn't really seen each other or spoke to each other, so there was no discussion about replacing him or anything like that, because the band weren't really together anyway. Yeah, so there was no point in looking for a replacement. You know,
it's quite scary, isn't it? If Ozzy Osbourne hadn't had a crisis, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to thank Ozzy for that. I don't suppose he'd remember all anything about it, but I just have to mention to it one time, but he didn't know where he is anyway, so he wouldn't know. So, but yeah, I mean, really, I mean, that was like, you know, just I always remember when we were playing, when we were on the stage at Reading, looking around looking at the side, and Chaz was on the side of the stage with a big grin right across his face. You know, it was brilliant. That was, yeah, it was really good.
I mean, when you walked off stage, obviously you were quite elated because you'd gone down well.
Yeah.
You know, because some gigs, I mean, Slade have never had the thing where they've died on stage, I don't think, but some gigs you just think, is this the gig for us? And of course, you walked on water that day. So when you went back to your caravan, you knew you'd done it. But what was it like when the press came in at the end of the week?
Oh, well, sort of the caravan was like straight away. All the press, all the other bands, everybody was in our caravan. You know, just raving about everything. It was just incredible. I always remember Tommy Vance saying, "I told you would do it. I told you it would happen." You know, and it was great. I mean, it's sort of. I don't know. It's almost like we'd never been away. You know, it was a great. It was a great feeling. Great feeling. Yeah.
I mean, the frustrating thing for fans, I think, is that you didn't do anything different at Reading.
No.
And it worked.
Exactly.
You know, which is all good.
Well, the thing I think as well, though, Ian, it's like we haven't got anything to lose, and we just went on and just slammed into them. You know, we really had. We had a couple of days rehearsal in the village hall. You know, back before we went, and there's no problem there. We just went through the songs, and it still sounded the same. You know, so we, like I said, we had to walk through with the crowd to get backstage and everything. And we had nothing to lose, basically. We had nothing to prove anymore. We had nothing to lose. And we weren't out to, you know, we just went on and just give it our all. And it just happened. And I think probably what helped a lot, like I said before, the BBC recorded it. And we bought the tapes off them.
Yeah.
And released it. And I remember you got down here about another thing, that the Lyceum when the U2 were on.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, they were unknown at the time. And I think I must have watched a little bit from the side of the stage. And to be quite honest, I wasn't really that impressed. You know, what I remember, there was, I mean, I love the stuff now and everything like that.
Well, they were a different band in the early days.
Yes, I mean, it was, I never really took much notice of them. They didn't impress me in any way. There was nothing there as such. I mean, but I mean, look what happened to them. They became one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. Really,
but it's that little leg up that you give them.
Yeah, yeah.
So straight away after Reading, you put some more dates in the diary: September, October, and December. And like you said, the Reading EP came out. I mean, that was really nice when that got into the charts and did a little bit for you.
Yeah, I mean, it helped a lot with gigs, really. That, you know, I mean, sort of, you know, when that came out, and we had something to promote as well. You know, we were on stage, and this is, you know, from our new record, you know, which is just, you know, starting to chart. You know, nice feeling. So we had something to promote as well, really, on those particular gigs. You know, so yeah. Somebody
on the forum asked if Dizzy Mama had ever been considered for the Reading EP.
Did we play it on the show? I don't remember actually doing it on the gig. You know, yeah, I remember.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can put that one out, guys. I mean, I don't know whether I actually remember doing that on the actual gig, but it was a great song to play on stage. It was good to play on stage, but whether we played it that particular show, I can't remember. You know, but yeah.
Then in November, Slade Smashes came out.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, number 21. You know, incredible, really. You know, so you know, yeah. I mean, amazing. And like you got there, on the end of November, the Christmas thing. You know, the same again, like an EP, trying to do the same thing again. But I mean, I think we had a few comments about the Okie Kokie.
Yes,
because I remember the guy.
We actually had somebody comment on the Okie Kokie, didn't we? Ian, I think he sang with you or something at one point.
What, on the Okie Kokie?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Noddy Holder, I think. Did you listen to that?
No, I have to. No.
Listen to it. He explained the Okie Kokie to us, didn't he, Ian?
Yes.
Oh, let's have a listen. But I remember it was really funny because our record plugger, a guy named Alan James at the time, we were going to release as a single, and he was going around the BBC. He said, "Well, I've got this few records here for you if you're interested. I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner." And he said, "I've got a so, and he said quite, and I've got the Okie Kokie by Slade." And there's a few.
Do you remember Slade? You know, on Slade Smashes.
Yeah.
There's a few tracks on there which are different to the original releases.
Okay.
take me back home, look what you've done, because I love you. Do you know anything about that? Why they were released or how they became to be released on the album?
I think it was obviously just to fill up the album, really. I think, Chris. So I just have to go back and have a look, have a look to see what's actually on that.
They are different versions, and we just.
How are they?
Yeah.
No, I just have to listen to that. I mean,
yeah.
Unless I must, but with the live versions.
No.
Oh, okay. That's have to listen to that.
There was just little odd things. You'll notice it when you listen to it.
I'll have a listen then, Chris, because I don't. It's been so long since.
Take Me Back Home is the one that's the most radically different. It sounds like a demo.
Oh, does it? I have to have a listen. I really don't know. Yes, I have to have a listen because I really don't know. I can't answer it. I don't know. But that went to number 21, and that's amazing, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, amazing.
Talking of chart things, totally off the ball. We haven't said well done to you for the hits.
Oh, incredible! I never thought I'd see that again. Where is it? When do the CD charts come out?
Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow. I just wondered where it would be, because I thought it was today, because I hadn't heard anything. So I thought, oh, it's either gone down or it's staying where it is. No. So it's tomorrow they come out. So hopefully
it's Friday.
Get an email tomorrow. Find out. Yeah.
The Tuesday, the days of the Tuesday lunchtime huddled around the radio are long gone.
Well, we used to be sitting in the car listening to the car radio when we'd be gigging, you know, because none of us had telephones. There's no mobile phones then, because we were gigging all the time. We used to pull over in a lay-by and all sit and put the radio on. It was about 1 o'clock, wasn't it? The charts used to be.
1 o'clock, yes, sir.
Yeah, we used to listen, because like I said, none of us had telephones then. And so we just had to wait and listen to the actual chart rundown. But, But I mean, sort of, it was a great feeling when you said about was it a relief. It was just a great feeling. It's a bit like now. I mean, I never ever thought I would see this again. You know, us being in the charts. You know, with
it's 40 years, isn't it? 40 years later.
Amazing.
It's a lifetime.
The thing is, Chris, is like I looked at the charts. I went on the CD charts a couple of hours ago because I wasn't quite sure when they came out. And apart from Prince, he's one above us. You know, I don't know anybody. I've got no idea. I mean,
but when you think that 1980, there's kids who were born then who are now grown up, have got their own kids, and are saying to them, "This is Slade," who when I was a kid, and all that sort of thing. It's madness.
I remember. Where was it? It's been a few years ago now. I think it was in London, and I was in the supermarket, and this guy came up. He obviously got his little daughter with him. I say, well, she was about 14. And he was talking to me, asking what we were doing and things like just general things. And then he said to his daughter, "Do you know who this is?" And she said, "No." And he says, he said, "Do you know Slade?" And she pondered for a minute and says, "Oh, don't they sing about Christmas?" It's amazing. Like 24 hits, and that's the only one we've ever known for. It's the only one that people ever talk about. You know, but that's the way it is, really.
Yeah.
You know,
small confession, Don.
Yeah.
Very small confession. You know, Prince is one step above you in the charts.
Yeah.
I bought the box set.
Oh, nice one. I bet it's good though, isn't it?
For 150 quid, it should be.
What?
8 discs and a DVD and a boot.
Even so, 250 quid. Blimey.
100.
My first flat didn't cost that much. But I mean, God, that's a lot of money. That is.
150 quid.
I would pay that for the Beatles, you know. But perhaps no, Ringo. I can see if I can get a freebie off Ringo.
Yeah.
Mention our names as well. Yeah.
Sorry.
Mention our names as well.
Oh yeah.
With Ringo. Well, get him on here. That'd be okay.
Well, that'd be good. Yeah. I tell you what. Yeah. He was great to talk to, though.
I should think it was.
Yeah,
It's a bit like us talking to drummers we like, sort of thing.
yeah,
So,
but, well, it's like, well, I'll tell you what though. When I first, I think I'll tell you, when I first went backstage, I met the sort of Greg, the original, his drummer, and he was coming backstage, and we went back, and Ringo was waiting there with a massive big tray like this with a bit of cake on it. Comes towards me, you know, with it, and I said, "Are we going to share that?" And it was great, and I didn't know whether he'd get pissed off about talking about the Beatles, you know, and I was scared to ask him, you know, and I don't know how he came about. We were just what he came about. It was talking about monitors for some reason. I don't know how that came about. Anyway, he came up talking about monitors, and I said, "I've got to tell you." And I says, I've got all the anthology stuff, and I said, I watch you on Shea Stadium, no monitors, you know, and that they're using the house PA that they use for the football commentary. That's what they used, you're right. And he said, well, it's right though. He said, well, monitors weren't around then. He said, there's no monitors in those days. He said, we just playing as a band. He said, we couldn't hear each other. He said, but because all the screaming. He said, but we were just playing as a band. You know.
Well, I think Nod told us the story when you were touring Humble Pie.
Yeah, the first American.
You didn't know about miking the drum kit up or something.
No. Well, I remember when we went down the afternoon and to try things out, and this American guy came. He's putting these speakers behind me, and I said, "What are they for?" He said, "It's your fallback, man." What? I don't know what you're talking about, you know. Of course, when we started, you have to turn them off because we've never been used to anything like that. And we were the same because we were just playing as a band. That's all we knew, you know. And now I've got them louder than Concorde taking off, you know, the way I have them now. But now it's incredible how things have changed. But I tell you, it's like an American. I always remember. I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, it was Kiss when we were on. We did some few shows with Kiss, and something happened with their equipment, whatever it was, and some of their equipment hadn't turned up for the show, so they had to use some of ours, the PA system, right, and monitors, which were quite archaic as compared with American systems. And I always remember, did you ever meet little JJ, who was one of our roadies? Yeah, but I remember he was doing our monitors at the time. He's only like sort of. I think he might be smaller than Dave Hill, but anyway, he was working our monitors, and it wasn't a very good system. I always remember I was watching, and Gene Simmons came over. It was all the blood coming down his chin. He was like towering above everybody, really shouting at JJ to get the monitors turned up, right? And JJ was there pointing at him. Now I've told you, you're bugger off. I wish I'd have had a camera or something to film it. There's little JJ, and there's like Gene was about 7 foot tall, and he was screaming at him with all the blood coming down. I've told you, I'm no young. I really wish I'd have had a cine camera to film it. It was great.
Genius.
One of the things that we talked about with Nod, you mentioned it, was the Beatles anthology, because we were talking about more Slade stuff in the can, and, you know, stuff that's lying about that's unissued. And Nod has confirmed there's not a big aircraft hangar full of tapes somewhere. So
no, I didn't think there was either. I think you'd be very surprised if there's really anything. You know, there might be
because you used it all.
Yeah, I think there might be some live stuff, but I mean, there's like Earl's Court, you know, but apparently the sound isn't that good, you know, and the same with the film. Apparently, it's not very good quality or whatever. But it would be worth having to listen to that though, or having a look, you know.
Nod said the problem with the footage from Earl's Court, the main problem is that the cameraman down at the front got trampled by the kids.
Yeah,
so they lost the close-up pictures, and there's a camera from the back, so that's all you've got. So it's
I can imagine that. So it's a shame because that could have been quite nostalgic. That could have been quite good, something like that, you know. Because
But what we were saying before, when we were talking to Nod, we talked about what was left over, and then we got onto the Beatles anthology.
Yeah.
Do you think the Beatles anthology was a mistake in anywhere? Because I've thought there was stuff on there that shouldn't have been on there.
Well, I think that's what it was. But I'm a mega Beatles fan, so you're asking
Yeah.
the wrong person. So I just love a lot of it, you know, sort of thing. But I loved all of it, to tell the truth. And I'll tell you what, though, I thought, Ian, is all that stuff was kept. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
actually keep it. And you think, I mean, I've got some Beatle, some pirate tapes. Now, it must have been the very, very early days, because actually it was Steve from the Pleasers who got it for me.
Mm.
And you can hear them, it must have been the very early days in the studio, because they're running through this like old rock song, whatever, I can't remember what it was, and it falls apart. And you could hear Lennon saying to McCartney, "What are you playing? What are you doing? What are you playing?" And then you can hear McCartney say, "I ain't got me plec." And he said,
That's
"Well,
on the
where is it?"
anthology as well. Yeah.
Is it when he said he's still
They
in
were
the
doing,
van?
yeah, they were doing. I saw it standing there, and it
Is that what it
collapsed.
was?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what it was? And he said it's still in the van. Can you imagine that? It's still in the van. but can you imagine to have kept all that stuff?
Mm.
I mean, we used to wipe over everything. If we had a take that wasn't working, we'd just go over it. We
But
wouldn't keep it.
that's always been, that's always, I mean, my sort of thing. You cannot imagine, I can't understand why some of these most obscure bands in the world come out with, like the Prince thing, 8 albums, DVDs, you know, and everything. Slade never did, because of your ring, because you taped over everything, didn't you?
We never kept anything, Chris. But it was just like, really, we always used to think that the price of the tape, you know, price of the, so we just go over it. You know,
But that was like the Slade in Flame, the film. I've said it before. Where are the outtakes for Slade in Flame?
That would have been brilliant. I tell you what, I've always said. I think it was the same there again, Chris. I think they were just wiped over. I mean, there's some brilliant ones. I mean, I think I told you.
There must have been.
That bit. I don't know. I told you before. You know that bit with me and Alan Lake in the jail cell.
Yeah. Oh yes,
You know,
with the
when he pulled his mill away from the toilet. I mean, I just bursted out laughing, because no one knew it was going to do it. It took all morning to do that scene, and if you watch it now, I've got my head down. That's the only way I could do it. And I think if you look close, I think you can see that I'm actually laughing. The only way I could do it was I made Richard Longcrane, the director, and John Stanley, the cameraman, just switch the camera on and leave the cell. And the only way I could do that scene, I got my head down. I'm looking at the floor. That's the only way I could do it.
But they still managed to get that pigeon to crap on Nod's head in one take. How did they manage that then?
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing, you know.
You know, it's basic filmmaking. Where's all the rushes? Where's all the stuff?
I know. Why didn't they keep? I mean, you see stuff on all these programs now, and they're years old, but they still kept them all. I mean, it's just amazing, some of the stuff, you know. I remember, I don't know who it was, on one film, he was doing like a really serious speech to this girl, really speech, and you could hear this, I don't know, it was like a chicken in the background, was squawking, and you know, just on the thing, and he's doing this real serious speech, you know, sort of this woman, whatever it was, like that, and then he stops, he says, "I'm going to kill that fucking chicken." You know, and you could hear him in the background squawking.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's the bane of any Slade fan's life.
Yeah, the same with me. The same with me as well, though. You know, I mean, all that stuff. I mean, that's why I loved. I mean, you think of with the Beatles, they actually kept all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, incredible.
And the Who and everybody can stick their wing stuff out from 1960 something. You think,
I know, it's amazing. We never kept anything. That's weird.
I would admire. This is not licking anybody's arse, but people like Ian who took cameras to the gigs and people who taped gigs and all the rest of it. They made all the bootlegs. The word wasted came to mind from, I can't remember the years, but I had other things on my mind at the time. Yeah. I just used to go stick my head in a bass cabinet and try and find my way home somehow. So people to write down set lists and take photographs, I think, were tremendous. And luckily they did for Slade, because there'd be nothing else.
It's amazing. I remember years ago, the one time, before we really had any success, I mean, we were playing at a university somewhere, And I was at the bar having a drink. It was those days, you know, we never had to bother about sort of hiding away. And this guy came up to me talking about guitars and amplifiers and all that. I said, "You're talking to the wrong person, mate." I said, what you need to do is go and talk to Dave, Jim or Nod. And he said, "Well, they're mine." I said, no. Anyway, he left. I never thought anything of it. And it was before the days of roads. I think we might have had maybe 2 roads, but it was never any security. Anyway, I was on stage, halfway playing, I got my head down, and I felt this bloody tap on my shoulder. And I froze. I was playing, and I looked up, it was this guy. And I looked up at him and he said, "Is it all right if I go and talk to him now?" We were actually on stage playing. I mean, where are they? Where are they at, you know? And I just burst out laughing.
My main thing was listening to the band and getting home. That was it.
Yeah, well, it's the same. I remember the same with me and Swin when we used to go to the package shows of the government in Wolverhampton. We used to have to walk home, and I'll tell you, and the same thing. I remember when we used to go and see when they used to have the beam flight with Cassius Clay, whoever he was fighting at the time. And there'd be the beam, and then you got the government in Wolverhampton about 2 or 3 in the morning, because we couldn't afford taxis, and we had to walk home. The same thing, we had to walk home. We had to walk farther than me, because I left him just before Bill's, by the girls' high school, and I could cut through. He had to walk down to Moxley, you know.
Yeah. No, so it's hats off to any of the Slade fans who did at the time, did set lists, photographs. I don't care, bootlegs, whatever they did.
Yeah,
fantastic.
There must be quite a bit around somewhere, Chris. I would think.
Yeah.
You know,
I hope so.
Well, we're about to wrapping it up time, Don, because we're on less than a minute now.
Oh shit! Well, just arrange another one, Ian.
We will do same time next week.
Yeah, all right then. But do the usual, Ian. Send me an email, all right?
We'll get the time right. We'll get the time right this time.
Okay. No, well, I'll keep these questions, so we'll carry on with these questions, will we?
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Carry on. So I'll just keep this. I'll keep this email. It's going to be great. Nice
Thank
one,
you so
guys.
much, Don.
Nice one. Take care. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.